This is Joe Simonds from Saltstrong, and this is the Tom Rowland Podcast.
Joe Simonds from Saltstrong. What's going on, man?
What's up, Tom? I'm back. I got invited back after many years.
You did. You've been on your own podcast venture. How many episodes have you done?
We're in the 600s is all I know. I don't know the exact number, but it's 600s, and we went from doing one a week to trying to do two a week, now back to one a week. So you can backtrack at how many years it's been, but it's been quite a few years. I know you've been on there a couple times, and I enjoy doing them. I learn something every time, even if by myself I'm learning something.
Right. I've had quite an adventure with this podcast, and I feel the same way, that it's kind of taught me something. It's also been kind of a creative outlet. Mm-hmm. What are the other reasons why you kept the podcast going for 600 episodes?
Because I keep meeting people that say they love it. I've had countless people, and I know you're the same. When the one time I met you in person, and you're like, I can't go to a Cracker Barrel without someone coming up and saying something to me. And I run into people, and it's one of the first things they bring up, and sometimes it's the unchurched part too. Because I've had, it's not easy to come up with that many episodes, and unchurched is a separate thing that I'm doing, and it's usually me. And there's been many weeks, Tom, that I wanted to be like, I'm just going to pause this for a year and take a sabbatical. Mm-hmm. But I had these people like, man, I don't miss a single one. And it sometimes they talk about, tears are flowing down and how it changed something, a relationship in their life. I'm like, oh man, I can't stop doing this. So it's powerful. And I think just like you have those people who do listen to everyone, and they feel like they know you, and there's a true relationship there versus us just selling a pack of Slam Shadies to a stranger as a transaction. There's a real relationship there. And so I love it. I really enjoy the podcast.
Yeah. Well, it's good for so many things for you guys. You're in the information business basically, and the podcast gives you an extended period of time instead of write something or an Instagram post or something like that. It's like you can talk about it for 2 hours if you want to. That's what I've liked. But for me, mostly it's been like I have all these opportunities to meet people, and a lot of times heroes of mine, or people that I've looked up to, or people that I've respected, or people that I've just met, and I've seen them do some cool stuff. And with a television show, we would have some guests on, but you're basically filming 12 episodes a year. So there's only 12 guest opportunities. And, the guest kind of angle for us was always like a very small part of it. Like it would have to be somebody really special, and it would have to be a special thing. So maybe 10% of the episodes, maybe 2 episodes a year, we're going to have a guest. But for the podcast, it's a great opportunity just to say, oh, well, let's do it. Somebody's like, well, let's do something together. Okay, well, we can do a podcast. And that's been great. And even if nobody listens to it, it's still great, because you get an opportunity to sit down with somebody and talk to them for an hour that, mostly your cell phones aren't going off. Mostly you've set aside this time to talk. And I don't know. I just find it really good. But just like you, there are many times where I'm thinking, man, I'd like to not do this for a while.
How many episodes have you done?
We're approaching 1,000. We are like right on the precipice of 1,000. So much so that Jake keeps asking me, what's going to be the 1,000th episode? I don't know. It could be you. Who knows? The more I think about like, oh, we have to do something really big for 1,000. Like that's a big milestone to have 1,000 episodes. We have to do something really big. The more I don't want to do it. I'm like, let's just whoever's next is going to be the 1,000th episode. I don't know. I would like to do something really big. But chances are it's not going to be like
how many are you cranking out a week? Because you started yours right after mine.
Yeah. Well, I did a lot of them during COVID. I was starting to put out like 3 a week.
Okay.
But we have 2 episodes a week. One is a knot tying episode, basically, is what it's kind of. It was a how-to Tuesday.
Yeah.
And then a full length. And then before I had a physical Friday.
I remember that.
I kind of feel like I said as many things about Physical Friday as I wanted to, and I started feeling like it was becoming forced. And so I was like, if it's like that, then I'm not gonna. It's probably better just to pause it for a little bit, and if I feel the need to come back to it, I will. But not I don't know, 3 episodes a week for a while, 2 episodes for the most part, and this long form is what I like the most. But it's been a great little project. And for the most part, I can do like a whole bunch of them for a week or two, and then we don't have to film. We don't have to do any for a while. And that's smart. How I've been able to do it. Well, the ones where I have to do one a week, that gets really tough, especially with filming and other schedules. That gets really tough. So I like to do like a batch of them and then let them out. But this one is going to probably be available tomorrow. So everything that we're talking about right now is going to go immediately live.
Real time.
And there's a lot of things to talk about with you. First of all, I can remember like it was yesterday that we sat down and you had this idea about how you were going to create Salt Strong. You didn't even know what it was called. I think you had just recently acquired the Strong name. And boy, what a journey you've been on since then.
I'd have to go back and listen to that original one because I'm sure a lot's changed. But yeah, I mean, the one thing that stayed true was Luke and I wanted to teach the world how to fish. And we grew up in a family that fished and boated, and all our best memories were around that. And I think I might have shared this story, but it's worth sharing again because it was the very first year of Salt Strong. And we hadn't really found our way. We didn't really have a business plan. We weren't making any money. And our grandfather passed away, and he was kind of the patriarch of all that. He was on a boat in the war, and had countless boats, and had a little beach house in Daytona Beach where we'd spend every summer we'd go there and hang out with him and our grandma. And from catching fish on the beach to going offshore to going down to the Ponce Inlet and seeing what the boats were bringing in. It was just so many good memories. So he passes away. He's 94 years old. If we could all be that fortunate. So it was a celebration of life for sure. 12 grandkids, Luke and I being 2 of them, and we're all sitting there at my parents' house and having some beers and just chatting. And we're all talking about our favorite memories and some funny ones from him falling off the boat or stepping on stingrays in the jellyfish store, like all these things that mostly happen in that beach house, ironically. And I realized like 12 kids who spent their whole life with this man, and not one of us mentioned something that he bought for us or a graduation gift or any of the the stuff that we all accumulate. It was all these memories that he helped, create with us and our families out, for the most part, out in the water on the beach. And I remember afterwards, it didn't hit me right away. We're not the smartest guys in the world, but afterwards, Luke and I were just kind of chatting. We're like, man, then that, like, how cool would that be? Like one day to, pass away at 90 years old and have everyone talking about all these awesome memories. And it finally clicked. We're like, that's what you got to focus on, is we need to help people go out there and create memories out in the water. And our mission statement kind of reflected over time. And so that kind of became like our North Star of what we were doing and what got us excited. We love selling Slam Shadies and the prawns, doing some of the fun stuff that we've done, catching snook off the 3rd floor balcony that Luke did back in the day. All that stuff was really fun. But if you were to join one of our team meetings we do it every Monday morning, and we have someone who's designated every week has to read at least a couple testimonials that came in that week or the week prior that revolved around that. And some of them give you goosebumps. I mean, that these memories that are being created. So that's just been a real part of our fabric. We don't really advertise it, and you won't see us, putting ads out there about that. Maybe we should, but that's really what fires us up internally, is just helping people go out there and create memories with their loved ones that might get shared around a table one day when you're passed away. I mean, that is pretty powerful. So.
Well, you're also teaching people how to go out there with their families and actually have some success, which is super cool. So I've watched from a distance. I've watched you start this and not really even knowing what it is. Is it a club? Is it For a while you were selling T-shirts. You were doing really well with T-shirts. I remember this one post. You're like, okay, well, we're not going to sell T-shirts anymore. And I'm like, what are you doing, man? That you're killing it with just when people are starting to wear your shirt everywhere, you're starting to see it.
Yep.
You decide I'm not doing it. We're doing these courses. Okay, I get it. The courses. I understand what the courses are and what there's infinite evergreen revenue there. That's fantastic. And people can watch a course 5 years from now, and the information's probably still good. And so I understand that. And then it's like a club, and then it's merchandise, and then it's fishing tackle, and then it's an app, and then it's lures, and then I don't know, I'm leaving some stuff out. So what is Salt Strong today? What is it? What's your elevator pitch?
Yeah, if I was in the elevator, it would be the largest saltwater fishing club in America. And then, people tell me more, and we talk about the app and the subscription part of it. But yeah, early on, as I mentioned, we didn't have a business plan. We love creating content, and that's how you and I, first met. If we could just get paid to create content, that's all we would have done. But, when we started, that was before YouTube really was a thing. There was a guy named Blacktip H, and there was Lunker Dog, who you've had on here, and just Ben Chancey were like the only true YouTubers, and they weren't even able to make a living off of it. They all had real jobs. Even Blacktip H did. And it was all real small. There wasn't a thing to really make money off of YouTube yet. It was happening, but it hadn't happened yet. So we started doing shirts and hats. And yeah, I think at one point, Tom, we were up to $50,000 a month of selling shirts and hats. That's a decent, all direct to consumer, all off our website. But it kept going back to that mission. At this point, grandfather passed away. We had this mission of teaching people and creating memories. And we're we just didn't feel right doing it as an apparel company. And, we were also getting pooped on a little bit by Salt Life. You guys are just copying Salt Life. And we're like, that's not who we want to be. And also, I didn't realize that women return 30 to 40% of everything they buy online. So we hadn't been prepared for that. As you scale any company, there's things that sometimes just hit you from the blind. And that was one of them. Whoa, what's happening to all these returns? And people returning stuff with cigarette burns in them and stuff. And we had this very, very liberal return policy. Yeah, return anytime. We'll just give you your money back. That's what Nordstrom's does. And we ended up just not making much money. We hated what we were doing. And it really just rubbed us the wrong way compared to what we truly believe was our mission statement. And so, yeah, we went all in with information, which is courses, which is the club, where they were getting real-time fishing reports, which turned into the app. And I think it was when we hit 20,000 members, and I don't remember what year that was, but 20,000 members was a really big deal to us. That's when our members started coming to us saying, guys, we have to be big enough now with 20,000 people to go get some legit tackle discounts. And we reached out to Z-Man. There's a couple Daniel, I'd still kind of like you, was one of my first mentors in this. Daniel Nussbaum was one of the first guys to kind of make a bet on us. It's yeah, let's do it. We'll give you guys some deals, and maybe we'll work on this. And we had the Slam Shady idea. It's yeah, we'll do that with you. And so that was kind of the beginning of it. And now, we sell millions of dollars of tackle every year from the club, from the club members mostly. And it's wild how it has evolved. And I never in a million years could have predicted this is what it was going to look like.
Well, you're a smart guy. Luke's a smart guy. You're from business backgrounds. Would you suggest that someone else start a business without a business plan like you did?
No. But here was our business plan, and this is not dumb. We knew that if we had enough eyeballs, if enough people liked us and trust us, we were putting goodwill out there. This is very Alex Hormozy before Hormozy. We're if we knew if we had enough eyeballs, at some point we could sell something. Mm-hmm. What the mistake was is we took way too long to figure out what to sell, and we started with the wrong thing, which was hats and apparel, and almost bankrupted us. The bigger you get, $50,000 of hats and shirts. sounds good. But when you talk about you have to have small to 4XL for every single color, like we were sitting on way more, like hundreds of thousands of dollars of our own cash and inventory in a given time. Like it can drown you pretty quickly. And if you're wrong once, you can be okay. But if you're wrong twice, like your whole business can be over. So I would have said I wish we would have had a more well thought out business plan. But anyone who's starting a business, whether it's a podcast or it's a YouTube channel or just a retail store, if you have eyeballs, you will usually be okay as long as you have a good plan to back it up.
Man, my foray into the t-shirt business, people always ask, like, where can I get a Saltwater Experience t-shirt? I'm like, well, I don't know, man. We have like a Spreadshirt account that you can get one, and those are, we make literally like 12 cents a shirt, and it's just a service, and no one uses it, like, because it's buried on the website and nobody goes there. But I did what you did. We had a design that we weren't particularly in love with. We got a bunch of shirts printed up. We sold all the larges immediately, all the extra larges immediately, and some of the mediums. And we had a lot of XXX, XXX shirts, a bunch of mediums, and a ton of smalls. And we ordered the wrong way. And so for years, I was washing my car with a Saltwater Experience t-shirt, or cleaning the boat with a small Saltwater Experience t-shirt. If you wanted a fish rag, it was going to be a Saltwater Experience t-shirt. And, it was always size small. And, I remember like the moment of doing that. I'm like, well, yeah, we have a lot of people that have kids. Like, yeah, get smalls, like get a lot of them. And we never sold the smalls. I
feel your pain.
Then, I remember just like you would have like 15 t-shirt orders, and it's like, I get home from a charter. It's like, I got to pack 15 t-shirts, and packing them was no problem. It's putting the label on it and then taking it to the thing, because it sounds like not very much, but 15 t-shirts, you can't carry 15 bags of t-shirts. Like that's a 2 or 3 trip to the post office kind of thing.
Yep.
So I don't know.
We were living that life.
I got out of the t-shirt business too. Yep. But what a lot of people are going to tune into this podcast for right now is because you sold something else recently, and I guess you call it that. Salt Strong has been acquired. And so that is one of the main reasons why we're talking today. I would love catching up with you and everything, but that's what people want to know about. They want to know about this acquisition. There have been a couple of posts about it. This is an opportunity for you to take as long as you want and tell people what it's all about. Like what I want to know is, how did you know that it was time? How did you know that this is something that you and Luke wanted to do? Because everything we've talked about up until this point is that you had a North Star, that you have this plan, this goal of helping people. How do you know it's time that I don't know what this acquisition looked like. So I'm assuming that you're going to get help to take it further than you thought you could take it on your own, but yes, I don't want to put words in your mouth. So why don't you tell me?
So I'm a real big fan of having 5-year goals. I think 10 and 20, it's really hard to hit a goal that's that far out. It's not bad to have dreams like that. But for me, from what I've learned from running a couple businesses now, that 3 to 5 years is kind of a sweet spot. And I try to go 5 and then kind of work backwards from there. And so there's 2 parts of this story. The first one was, it was actually a little over 7 years ago, we did our 2025. So that was kind of like our massive BHAG, this big, hairy, audacious goal that we were going to have 200-something thousand members, I think it was at the time. And we were going to do all these things. And the very bottom bullet point was we were going to acquire the property for this fishing theme park. So that was for a 2025 vision. And here we are. I'm looking at my calendar. We're still in 2025. So there was always that in the back of my head. And I looked at that. I don't know if I looked at it every single day, but I mean, we have it printed off in our office. It's there. It's always front and center. And so there's always been something in my mind that, man, like, are we going to be able to get this property in 2025? Because most of the other things came true. We were off on the number of members that we had, but everything else, we were kind of doing it. And we're like, well, man, it kind of stinks that like that very last bullet point, 'cause that's the one I was most fired up about, was that it's kind of the next version of Saltstrong, taking everything we've done online and now uniting people and creating memories face to face at this, a true park that's really meant for anglers and outdoorsmen and women. So there's that part. So that's kind of step number one. And then we hit 2025. We're like, well, man, I don't know if the last bullet point is going to happen, but we need to have the next 5 years. So earlier this year in 2025, depending on when you listen to this, but it was in January 2025, the leadership team at Saltstrong, which includes Luke and I, obviously, worked really, really hard on a 2030 vision. Okay. So 2025, we're still living it. Who knows if we'll hit every bullet point, but like we still need to have the next plan. And as we wrote that out, it's not something we share publicly, and I don't intend to, but one of the things that we saw happening in our business in that 2030 plan that we needed to solve for was, if we really wanted to grow this club, which was the number one goal, by the way, is to grow the club, we needed to grow our merchandise, meaning the inventory that we had. Right now, it is pretty small. So we have like 680 SKUs. And for those of you who don't know, a SKU is like an individual product. So if you had, let's just use the skinny lipper, which is one of our hard baits. We got a skinny lipper, that's a SKU. The skinny lipper XL, the big boy, is a SKU, and the skinny lipper junior, the smaller one, is a SKU. So, one lure, 3 SKUs. We have 680 of those. Put in perspective, like a Bass Pro has 800,000, maybe 1 million in some of the bigger Bass Pros. So we knew that our audience had told us, hey, we want more things that we can buy from you guys. Love the club, love the education. But there are people that get it good enough and consistent enough where they don't need the how-tos on a regular basis. They enjoy the camaraderie. They enjoy the app and dropping waypoints and using it for tides and stuff. But they can still justify the expense of the club by how much they were spending and were saving in this case. And so we knew that we needed to have some help there. As I mentioned earlier, when we were doing $50,000 a month of shirts and hats, you have to sit on 2 to 3 times that. Usually you have a 2 to 3 month, kind of stock up of inventory. And I can't share all the numbers, but I mean, we're doing 7 figures of tackle. It's just for easy math. So know that, I mean, we're always sitting on a lot of inventory at any given time of Luke and Joe's cash. We had no investors, and that was a big part of us from day one. We wanted to bootstrap it, and the bigger you get, it's just you have more exposure out there. So I'm tying the story in together. So we started talking to some potential partners, not to sell Saltstrong, ironically. For us, it was like, I mean, if we could just find the partner to maybe buy the Fish Strong part of it. So Fish Strong is kind of the e-commerce side of the business, and we can just be focused on running the club. Man, that would be a dream come true. And so the 2030 vision had a whole page in it. It was a multi-page kind of a white paper for our internal team. And that was a one page of it, is some point in the next 5 years, we want to find a partner to take over and really grow that Fish Strong part, the tackle part, equipment part, so that we can focus on the club, which was creating content, which we love, the community part that we absolutely we love, and just helping people go out there and catch more fish. And in the very end of the 2030 white paper was that we were going to kind of copy and paste what we've done for saltwater into freshwater fishing and into hunting and camping, and ultimately go from being like a trusted, fishing club and community to a trusted outdoor club and community. Mm-hmm. All right. So set the stage there. We all know that as a team, we're excited. We start going out and reaching out to some of the brands, and I can't say the brands because of the situation we're now where we've sold and we're still under NDAs with the brands that we talked to, but some of the bigger boys in the industry, and kind of pitch the idea of what I just shared with you. Hey, you guys could, acquire the Fish Strong part and we still run this, and, we just send traffic your way. And it just didn't really click. And right in the middle of that, Tom, there's this thing called tariffs, that just disrupted the whole thing. And so almost like overnight, and if you remember, anyone who's in any industry really these days, but in fishing, most of the stuff is made overseas. Most of the stuff that you see in the big box stores is made overseas. So like conversations just shut off, stopped. And there was one company called Sportsman's Guide that we'd always been chatting with. And what made them different is they had a buyer's club, meaning they understood the membership. They understood the subscription part of things, and they understood discounting too, meaning giving your members a discount. A lot of the other companies didn't. Just, not wrong or right. It's just not their business plan, which is fine. And so the more we kept talking with them, and obviously once you get under an NDA with a company and you show them everything, meaning you're showing all your books and the good, the bad, the ugly, they're like, well, gosh, I wonder if it makes more sense to like buy the whole thing out. And then we let them read that 5-year plan, and they got, I hopefully I'm saying this right, but I mean, from their CEO up, he's like, I was literally in my house, like, heck yeah, like this is it. Like these guys get it. I want to support this. And so they read where we want to be in 2030. And you nailed it earlier. Like we want to help you get there way faster. Like we want to give you guys the funds. We want to take the tackle part not off of your hands completely. We still want you guys very involved, because Luke, my brother, is brilliant in making this stuff. I mean, he spent over a year, developing the original prawn and the travel rod that we have released that was a huge hit. It's like we want Luke's brains on that. We want to have way more of this Fish Strong stuff, but we want to take the day-to-day inventory management. When you're talking about selling millions of dollars of products, the amount of inventory guesswork and, based on data you're having to deal with, and promos and Black Fridays and all that stuff, it's a ton of work. And if you guys can focus on content, on the community and the club, and eventually help us do some of that same stuff, like come up with an app for hunters and campers and shooters, et cetera, on their side, this could be a huge win. And so, I think a lot of people that have maybe never sold a company, which is 99% of Americans. So I understand why, but I think a lot of people, like they saw like, oh man, like you guys did a split second decision. Like this has been going on since like March, and it just happened September. I mean, this was, a 6-7 month process of going back and forth and prayers and, advisors and lawyers. And there was multiple times where, each party had a chance to get out when the tariffs got even more serious. And just, I mean, I'm a big believer in God, as you know, and like I always prayed, I was like, God, if this is the right time, I want you to open up that door so wide I'd have to be blind to like miss it. And if it's not, shut it as hard as you can in our faces. And I kept waiting for it. And the tariffs happened. I was like, all right, this is going to slow it down. And it really just kept opening up. Even our attorneys, they're like, this was the easiest close they've ever been a part of, like 20 something years. Like in terms of everything just going right and the parties being just agreeable. And it was really, really good, even though it was not fun. Due diligence for that long is draining, but in the big scheme of things, it was really awesome. And so, yeah, we're pumped. It's been a month and a half now officially. And yeah, like they're the fears that I think a lot of people have is, oh, Salt Strong's done. They're not going to make any decisions anymore. We've had 2 big leadership meetings, including like an all-day one. And I asked my new boss, technically, at the main company, like, do you want to join? He's like, no, why would I want to join the leadership? Like, you guys keep doing what you're doing. Like, if you guys need help or money, let us know. But we got the 2030 plan. Let's just make it happen. So they've been very, very hands off, and I don't see that changing. That was one of the big criteria Luke and I had, was we got to keep running it. This is, you can see what I'm still wearing here. If you're listening, I'm wearing a Fish Strong hat and a Salt Strong t-shirt. But yeah, it's such a big part of our identity, and we're having fun. Like we're having fun, and we're just not done. So yeah, that was that was a really big part of it. And to kind of circle back to the 2025, which we're still in today, there was some cash that came our way, as you can imagine, and that has given us the opportunity to maybe find this property here in this last quarter. Is all I will say.
Well, is there a tempered, like a temperature or a region or could this theme park be anywhere, or is it like a warm weather thing or a cold? Like what I would imagine it's got to be Florida, right?
Well,
or southern.
I'll have to surprise you, maybe on a future podcast episode.
It's going to be certainly. It's not going to be an ice fishing theme park. No one's going to. In the words of my daughter, that found out that I was going to do triple Murph on my birthday, she said, "Dad, no one is going to come."
I will tell you this. So I was born in Florida. I went to Georgia Tech, where I met my wife in Atlanta. And we lived in Texas for 4 years. It's in one of those three states. So it's in the South. It's either Texas, Florida, or Georgia. And we are looking at multiple places. But yes, certainly somewhere in the South. So
that's nice.
Yeah.
So that whole story, really happy for you. And as your friend, super, super excited for you. I'm going to put myself in the position of a subscriber. And I'm going to say, that's a great story. It sounds like Luke and Joe are going to do great with this. What about me? Like, how does this benefit me? How, like, it sounds like, a couple of things. So you were saying that many people were like skeptical because when you sell a business, you don't know what happens there.
Yep.
Well, I don't know if it's because they don't have experience selling a business as much as it is, there have been a lot of roll-ups in the last few years with very trusted brands that have been destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
Like really good brands with really great quality, and the first thing that goes away is the quality. I guess answer that question from the perspective of somebody that, maybe not the most rabid fan, but maybe somebody that like joined in the last 9 months, and it's like, oh, I thought I was joining this one thing, and now they're throwing me this curveball. Like, how are you reassuring your subscribers, your members?
Yeah, what you're describing is probably what everyone's experienced, where a company that you love gets bought out, and it usually doesn't happen overnight, but over time it either gets destroyed, they fire all the customer service now sucks, or the quality of the products goes down, whatever it is. And so don't think Luke and I were naive to that. I will say a couple things. I mean, one, there was a reason that we had, and I shared this on Facebook and LinkedIn, that we had kind of 5 big criteria that had to happen before we'd ever sell. And the very final one was that we never sell to private equity. In general, and private equity means it's investment money. They're coming in to, like you said, a roll up where they're bringing stuff in together, or they're buying an individual company. They put a ton of money into it and grow it as fast as they can and then sell it off and don't care about anything else. So I can't share all the details, but it is not private equity that bought us. It's a family office, and I'm not allowed to say who it is, but it's someone you might know. Yeah,
it's out there.
Yeah, it's someone you probably would know the name and like and trust. So that's all I can share. So that was a big part of it, that it's someone who has a very long-term vision. Like a family office, so you guys know, is usually billionaires, or always is usually billionaires, or someone close to that asset level. And they're creating stuff for their great grandkids that aren't even born yet. Like they're trying, like Rockefellers have a family office. John Rockefeller died, I don't know how many years ago, but he's now had multiple generations that are still running their family office. So they're thinking out generations, not, hey, here's how we're going to flip this thing in 3 years. So I'll share just our experience with that. We got to go talk to, and they let us chat with other companies that they had bought over the last 40 years. And I don't think they've sold a single one, like not one. There was one that just had some issues on their own, But out of a 40-year track record, they like the guy who sold their company to them. It was like 32 years ago. I got to talk to him personally and meet him, and he's still on board as an employee 30 something years later. So it's like, all right, well, that's unheard of. But to like truly answer your question on will the products or the content or whatever that go down, if it does, it's on us. I mean, we are truly running it. Luke and I are making the day-to-day decisions, and there is zero incentive for us to make the product crappier. There's no real incentive for them to make the product crappier. And in fact, this was like, we didn't think they were going to say yes to this. So we have a couple different levels of membership. All members got free Sportsman's Guide membership for life, like meaning as long as you're an active insider member. It's not one of these where you get it for a year, get it for a month. You almost got like a BOGO membership. So the Insider Club is $100 a year. Their Sportsman's Guide to save money on ammo and guns and hunting and all that is $60 a year. So every insider member automatically, just happened, they all get the free membership. And we're like, well, we have these things called lifers that they paid extra money to get lifetime access for Insider Club. And obviously they're like, yeah, we're going to honor that. We're like, well, is there a way they could get lifetime access to Sportsman Guides? Let's like giving them an extra $60 for maybe 20 more years, depending on how long someone lives. And they're like, yeah, let's do it. It makes sense. Let's honor those lifers. And I was like, oh man, these guys, like I said, it was just so easy. So
what are the benefits of Sportsman's Guide?
So it's very similar to our tackle, like the Fish Strong for members, where it's a discount. So almost across the board, it's 10% off everything in their store. They have, ice fishing stuff and even some bass and saltwater stuff, but they're really big into hunting and shooting. So like we had a couple members like, oh man, that's where I buy all my ammo. I get it by the truckload. I guess that's probably what they're most famous for, is having some of the lowest prices on ammo. But it's a buyer's club, no different than Costco or Sam's Club, where
Do they have education like you do?
They don't. And that's what they saw our 2030 and were like, wait a minute, you guys are talking about going into freshwater fishing and hunting like that. We already have all the inventory. Why don't you guys start, not tomorrow, it's not going to happen next year, but over time, you guys start kind of heading up the content for that. So in 5 years from now, I'm just guessing, I haven't seen the future, but it should look something like Salt Strong Insider Club, but it will be this massive insider club for hunting, for camping, for shooting, for freshwater and for saltwater. So
how strong do you think this company with Sportsman's Guide is?
Tell me more.
I don't know. You got the tariffs, you got, I wouldn't say the economy is fantastic. I think that people have money right now, but they're holding on to it. Yep. And like what I notice is they're not buying new boats, but they're refurbishing their old boat. They're probably not buying new fishing tackle, but they are buying new line. They're making the stuff that they have right now, good, maintaining it, making it better, doing things like that, rather than I'm buying a whole new set of rods, which is what we saw during COVID. That's what we saw, at other times where it was like, I don't have anything to do. Amazon delivers right to my door. I'm getting 5 new Stellas, I'm getting Saltigas. So I don't know. And so if you have a dip, you have tariffs, you're saying that like many of the tackle manufacturers, stopped all talks with you, or I don't know if those are who you were talking to or not, but like when the tariffs happened overnight, things changed. Is this company strong enough that they could weather that storm and other storms, in your opinion? Like what do you think the overall health of that company is?
I can't comment on the health, but as I shared, it's owned by a very large family office. And all I can say about Sportsman's Guide is look at their track record. They've been around over 40 years. I mean, there's probably listeners that aren't even 40 years old. Sportsman's Guides has seen a lot. They obviously made it through the 2008, 2009 through everything else, and still there, still growing. And I think there's always going to be people, regardless of what happens, that buy. And even if you go back to how fishing clubs started, because I've got curious about that. We have a fishing club. We're saying it's the largest saltwater fishing club in America. And from everything that I could track down in America, not worldwide, but in America, that fishing clubs started in the early 30s during the Great Depression, because you had 22.5% of people were out of work. And that's mostly men back then were only working. A lot of women did not work. That was not like it is today. So you had 20, let's just say a quarter, every 1 in 4 men was out of a job. They still wanted to go do something. And fishing was one of those things that brought people together. And so I think even then, at the probably the worst time in the last, 100 years, there were still people out there fishing. Yeah, you're right. They weren't buying new boats and probably not rods and reels, but they're still spending some money. And I would argue if they could save just like a Sam's Club or Costco and buy stuff in bulk, like the ammo or lures or whatever, and pay a little membership fee, I'd still bet on it that people like to save money and will be part of a club. But what the future holds, who in the heck knows? I mean, what a roller coaster it's been the last just handful of years.
I don't know. I mean, it really has. I have no idea what's going to happen. I keep thinking that thought it was going to get worse before it got better. That was the first thing I thought.
Yeah.
And then it has done that, I think. And then I'm waiting for the better part. Not that it's bad. I mean, it's just things are really expensive right now, and a lot of people are waiting on their big purchases that like we haven't seen in a long time. Like, what we have is good enough. Let's make do with what we've got. No reason to get something new. Mm-hmm. What about your coaches? You've maintained a pretty impressive lineup of coaches. People really enjoy the people that teach your material. Any changes there? You're going to add more, take away some? Like, what's the plan for the educational material?
Yeah, without giving you our full playbook, we'll be adding more.
That's what we're here for, man. I want the full playbook. Nobody wants to listen to a partial playbook, man.
We'll be adding more for sure. It'll just look different. And anyone who's followed us around or been a member for 8 years, we had, and I think you might have met Wyatt back in the day. Wyatt was kind of one of the team leads for our coaches. And I think at one point we had 8, and even though they might not be full-time, they were kind of full-time, meaning like they weren't doing a bunch of other stuff. They might run a couple of little charters here and there, but for the most part, they were working 4 days a week for Salt Strong, just cranking out content. And we like to listen to our members, and we started hearing people saying, I'm overwhelmed with how much stuff. Because when you got 8 people and they're creating multiple videos a week, I mean, that's a lot of stuff you're pushing out. And that might sound cool, but a lot of people are already inundated with all the stuff. So we kind of kept paring it down a little bit. And now, if you've noticed, we only have a handful of coaches, actually three full-time, if you will.
Who are they?
My brother Luke, obviously, will always be considered one. Tony, who's the OG, who's been with us forever, the big, bulky Tony, and then Pat. Pat was the guy that he. What did he ask me one time? So there was no job opening. Oh, I know what it was. He goes, Joe. I want you to hire me as a coach, but I'm going to prove my value first. And he goes, I'm going to sell my house and live in an RV, and I'm going to start in Texas, and I'm going to go all the way up to Virginia over a year and film the whole thing, showing our tackle. Salt Strong, he was an insider member, showing our tackle and all the stuff that we teach works everywhere. And I was like, well, dude, we're just going to hire you if you're going to do that. Like, we'll help fund this whole thing. And here he is, now 4 years later, he did it and documented the whole thing. It was amazing.
Wow. Where does that live? Where does something like that live? I mean, your content, you're pushing out so much content.
That's part of the. So that when he was doing that was in the middle of when we had those 7 or 8 coaches. So it's all out there.
YouTube out there? Or?
Oh yeah, on YouTube, on saltstrong.com, but it's just scattered all over the place, unfortunately. Some water. So what you've seen, we've got these 3 kind of core guys that are the kind of the lead coaches. And now we have a bunch of affiliates. I call them affiliates, meaning like part-time coaches. Actually, the majority that have just come from our club that are just hardcore. You know, those guys, you've met them that are just, they have jobs, could be a firefighter, whatever it is, but they're out there 3-4 times a week and just crushing it. And we're like, man, you're doing awesome. And you love teaching. A lot of them have little small YouTube channels, and we just hire some of them on to do part-time stuff. It's been great.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. And what do you think? What do you think the biggest challenge of moving to freshwater is going to be for you personally, and you and Luke?
Golly. I mean, I'm a big fan of the word momentum, and we have a lot of good momentum in saltwater, and it's like starting over from scratch. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's the unknown. You got to start over from credibility, from trust, all of that stuff. The good news is we have a model that works. We know what kind of content has worked. We're pretty confident in going out there and knowing like there's certain little formulas that we have. And I'm not talking about YouTube stuff that gets eyeballs. I'm talking about stuff that really attracts people in and builds trust and is helpful. So we have a model for that. But yeah, it's the starting over part.
Does that excite you or scare you?
Oh, it excites the heck out of me.
Well, I would think that's kind of you. Like that you're that guy. You're the entrepreneur. You're the builder, right? Yeah. What about Luke?
He's very excited as well. But Luke is also, and he's certainly in the entrepreneur sphere. He just thinks differently than me and is, I'm going to say, less risky. Very risk averse and slower to make the big moves. So he's still, and he just loves saltwater fishing, but ironically through an act of God, literally, the hurricane flooded their house in St. Pete. So he's living in Winter Haven and now actually doing a lot of bass fishing. He's like, yeah, this is how we all got started. It's pretty doggone fun. So, but yeah, it'll be impossible to get Luke out of saltwater, and that's not the plan. And just like, if you had acquired us, you don't want to take us out of our sweet spot. You really just want us to help build some teams around that. So what you'd probably see is Luke and I will still be the Salt Strong brothers, and we'll just build new teams around those other entities like freshwater fishing and hunting and shooting. There's no way Luke and I are going to be the experts on the white-tailed deer or turkeys or anything. It's just not going to happen. We need to kind of stand around the thing, but we have the formula to go find those people that can do that. Mm-hmm. So you'll probably start seeing some job opportunities for some content or head of contents for these other entities that will essentially kind of run that whole thing and end up reporting up probably to Luke and not me. So that will be some exciting stuff for people listening. I know we get hit up for, hey, do you guys got any jobs with this acquisition? And you nailed it earlier. Sportsman's Guide, big company, hundreds of millions of dollars, been around 40 years. They don't do any content, and they really want to get heavy in content and community. Like those are really they're two big things. And we love community and we love content. And so I think there's going to be some really cool job opportunities for not editors per se, but people who really understand content and what the consumer wants and needs and benefits from, and those other niches. So if you got people who are really into hunting, regardless of where you live, or into freshwater fishing, once again, regardless of where you live, it's in all 50 states. I think there'll be some big opportunities there.
Where would people find those opportunities?
It would be at the Sportsman's Guide and probably on Salt Strong as well. And it's not going to happen this year as we're recording this in 2025. We've got a really big board meeting in mid-November to budget all of this stuff out. And so we'll know a whole lot more in into November, December, and then probably start seeing a lot of these opportunities in early 2026.
So is there any chance that, so much of this is revolving around the Sportsman's Guide. Is there a chance that Salt Strong turns into Sportsman's Guide Fishing Club?
Ooh, good question. I don't know about that. That's the big question. I see.
You've bled to build this brand.
Yeah, it wouldn't be called.
That would be a heartbreaker to me if that
it wouldn't be called that. Like it would never be called. What did you say? The Sportsman's Guide?
Sportsman's Guide Fishing Club or something like that. Like it moves. It changed the name.
I don't know. I mean, Salt Strong is not going to go away. Like we obviously have, and they just paid a lot of money for it. So Salt Strong won't go away. What will it look like in 5 or 10 years from now? Will it be just the Sportsman's Guide Insider Club? Maybe. But will Salt Strong still keep creating content? Like, just so you know, we own Salt Strong, we own Hunt Strong, we own Bass Strong, we own Fit. We bought all those for a reason, and I would see it more likely those are all just hubs of content that all lead up to one place. But yes, I think ultimately there will be one membership. That's not happening, but that's my gut. And I'm talking 5 years from now, not next year or right now. But ultimately, if it was me and I could design it, I think that just makes sense. I have one payment to get access to everything.
Mm-hmm. So one of the things, we've looked at buying companies. We've had companies come to buy us. One of the things that they always say is like, we want to make it to where you can do the things that you want to do all the time and not have to do the things that you don't want to do. So I'm sure that was presented to you and Luke. And I'm sure that they said, we want you to do the things that only you're good at and the things that you're really excited about. So let's start with Luke. What do you think the things that if he could take something off of his plate that he has been doing or tasked with in any capacity since you started Salt Strong, what do you think he would say? I don't ever want to do that again.
I'll tell you real quick: finance and inventory management.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, so big picture, I mentioned the two things that they want us to focus on: content and community. What Luke has been doing is half content hat and then half inventory management. He's been the guy, even though we have help, and we did hire a great person this past year to help out. End of the day, he's the knowledge base. He's been doing it since we started. He knows, the cycles of it, and he hates it. Because you're just stuck in Excel. Like Luke likes being outside. He loves he's a natural teacher, and he hates that. And same with finance. Is anything in Excel, he's actually good at it, but it drives him bonkers. And anytime you don't love something, you end up procrastinating on it. You put it off, and so
that's it for him. What is it for you?
Oh, good question. For me, just the day-to-day managing of people, and not really anything's going to change with them acquiring us. That's more on me, where I need to have a true COO, and we've never had that. So how we're structured and have been forever is I've been the CEO, and then we have the head of IT and the app guy reports up to me, and we have tackle reporting up to me, and HR and a head of operations. And so I'm right now, if anyone listens this long, they can know, maybe even Jason's listening, but Jason on our team, it was just an absolute critical hire. And I don't know we'd be where we are today, even being acquired, if we didn't have Jason. And this is not to downplay anyone else. Our team is just A players. We have an amazing team, but we were always lacking in that head of operations, someone who can see a vision and be like, hey guys, here's exactly how we're going to build this. Here's the landmines that we're probably going to hit. Here's how we're going to avoid them. Before, Tom, I'd come up with the idea, we'd all agree on it, and we just start moving. We hit every landmine possible, and we're just constantly duct taping stuff. And he just has such a different mindset, and he's giddy on it. Like he sees these issues that just like I just want to just go walk off a cliff. And he's like, oh man, this is the most exciting day of my life. I get to fix all this stuff. And so anyhow, moving something like that up so I can focus on that 2030 vision, because that's what kills me when I'm just in the weeds on operation stuff. And like my team's like, oh, you haven't done my annual review. I'm like, you're still hired, right? Like you have a job, like you're doing fine. I will tell you if you're doing a bad job. And I'm being a little facetious there, but that's the stuff that just, I hate being slowed down by that, because I'm always thinking out in the future of how can we, how can we grow this? How can we make a bigger impact? And if I'm sitting there filling out HR forms, it's just like,
that's one of the first things that somebody will try to take off your plate is like, we have people for that. We have people that can do HR forms so much better and faster than you're ever going to be able to do them. And we don't ever want you to do those again. So make a list of all the things that you don't like to do, and somebody else can do that. Now, with Luke, we know he's a good coach. We know he's a good teacher. We know he likes to fish. We know he hates inventory. So what if he really had the blue sky, what is it that he focuses on moving forward, in your opinion?
All content all day long. And that's everything from doing tackle reviews, which he loves doing. I mean, he's in a sweet spot. If he's out on a boat or in wading boots or whatever, it doesn't really matter. But if he's out in the water and he's got a camera and he's filming and testing out stuff, he is in his sweet spot. Our company does better. People like it better. We earn more trust. I mean, it's where he belongs. And I think he's the best in the business at doing that. And a lot of the ideas, like the product ideas that we've come up with, have come from him being out there saying, I can't believe no one's come up with something like this.
Right. And that's what he needs to be doing. So what about you? What's your favorite, like not what they're asking you to do, but like if you could super blue sky it, what is it that you would like to be focusing on?
I love growing this club, the friendships that we've made, and as I said earlier, those goosebump moments we get where people are sending us, pictures of their kids or grandkids or neighbors, whatever it is, saying that this moment was created not because of you, because of your help or something I learned. Like, I love that stuff. That, to me, that's the community, and ultimately just growing the club. You got more club members. Not all of them are going to go through all of our content, all of our stuff. Heck, you pointed out, tough to find some of even the cool stuff. Right. I mean, Pat went from Texas to Virginia, and I'm guessing 90% of our members don't even know he did that, and it was so freaking cool. So I love growing the club and the community part of it. I don't like to operate, and the operation is not just HR forms. Like, we made a huge transition earlier this year to move out of fulfillment. Like, we're talking about, some days 1,000 items going out in a day. Remember, you're talking about 11 to 15 shirts in a day. We got 1,000 orders sometimes in a day. We were doing it in house, and the analysis that had to happen, and the conversations and negotiations to go to a third party. And that guy Jason, he's like, Joe, I got it. I'll report every week what's happening. And I was like, oh my gosh, this guy's a godsend. Normally I would have been doing every single one of those meetings. I mean, it was nuts. So that when I realized, when I finally got off my plate, I was like, oh man, talk about blue sky. I was like, man, the sky is the limit. Now we can do some really cool stuff. So I don't know if it was this last diecast or maybe the one before, but you and I ran into one another. We had a few minutes to talk. I asked you what you were doing, and you said that you were going to be away from work for a month or maybe 2 months. I can't remember which one it was. 1 month. Yeah, I got challenged. So you were challenged if I remember it correctly, you said something like, if you can't be away, or somebody challenged you to see how well your team runs with you being gone for a month. And if they couldn't run, if the business wasn't running as well with you gone as it is with you there, then you had a real problem. So tell me what you learned. I learned that I like my job and I like to work too much to take a month off again. I really do. And, I'm in my mid 40s, and my friends, my wife, they have jobs. And the first week is really, really cool because, you mentioned what I did, but when I take a month off, the whole challenge was no checking emails. You can't go to a single meeting. You can't even reply to an email. Like, you are checked out, like you're in the hospital on your deathbed, checked out. So first week, really, really cool. Wife and I took a little vacation, went to, I think it was Costa Rica on that one. And then we took a little time, went to Anna Maria. And then all of a sudden, my wife had to go back to work. My friends are all working. I'm like bored out of my mind. Like I like reading, I like fishing, but I was like, man, there's only so like maybe like my dad when he retired, he's like, I don't know, I'm just antsy. So I learned that about myself too. I learned we got an amazing team. We kept growing. We had one major issue, but it wasn't anyone's real fault. We got hacked. This is crazy how I don't know if it was the devil or what playing tricks, but it was like day 4. My brother calls me and he's not even supposed to call me unless it's like massive emergency. He's like, Joe, I know I'm not supposed to call you, but I think you should know we just got one of our accounts hacked and they stole $50,000. I'm like, and this is day 4 on my month off. I'm like, what? My immediate reaction, Tom, was to put the cape on. I'm coming in here and fixing stuff. And I was like, all right, tell me where we are, like the whole story. And I was like, are you on it? And Luke's like, we got it. We got this. And so obviously I didn't sleep that well because it's small business. I mean, that's a ton of our cash just gone, disappeared. We did not get it back. It was a big learning lesson. But anyhow, that was the first time I had to literally just say, you know what, take a breather. And I was like, you know what, the team's either got it or they don't. There's nothing I can literally do. I'm not going to go to wherever Russia, wherever they took it from and knock on their door and get it. I was like, it is what it is. We just got to roll with it. But the team crushed it. It was really good to do it, but I wouldn't do it again.
We had a similar thing happen. How did it happen with you? How sophisticated was this?
Oh, crazy. They knew I was gone. They used in-person emails and they went through Carol, who's kind of right-hand person, the whole, I won't say all the details so don't try to do it again.
Email or text or what?
It was all email, but they literally knew somehow I was going to be gone that time. It was pretty wild.
The same thing happened to us, so much so that we thought it was an inside job for a while, because they knew what was going on, and one of our employees was leaving and they were going on a cruise, and someone sent a message saying, hey, and we need to wire some money over here. You need to do it before you leave port. Nobody would have known that information. So they were obviously monitoring emails or something. I don't know. We didn't get it back either.
That's what we found out. They were in our system, in our calendar, weeks before, and they were waiting. It's
how do you know that they're not in there now?
We're very certain they're not in there now. I mean, we have a lot of sophistication in our security that we did not have in place then.
We set some things in place where I know that's never going to happen again. No one can wire money, period.
Ditto.
Wiring money is the red flag of all red flags, and everyone knows there's no way anyone is asking anyone to wire money, especially through email or text. It's not happening. And so that's very disappointing, but that's crazy. So you don't want to do it a month. What if you were tasked to do it for 2 months? Could you have made it?
Personally, that would have been the toughest part. But once you have that right team in place, you should be able to take 2 months off. Now, I know if there's someone who just started a business, Luke and I could not have done that in the early years. You're wearing a lot of hats, but your goal should be at some point to start a company and to grow a company and to scale a company where you do have really good people that you trust and depend on, and you can take time off. And I realized personally, I really like getting my hands dirty and just working. Mm-hmm. And I mean, even when I on a normal vacation, I'm still kind of thinking about the business and dreaming about it and reading books about it.
But that's the ultimate though, is where you're doing those things. Those are the bigger picture things, the projection forward, the leadership of the entire company, rather than if you're mired in Excel spreadsheets and other things, you don't have time. You don't have any white space. You don't have any bandwidth to be reading books about business, to be listening to podcasts about how people grew their business, which gives you the idea we could actually do this theme park. We could actually do something. You're just sitting there going, we only have 4 reels. It's you're minoring in or majoring in minor details, I guess, is what people say. So one other question I was just wondering, you guys have created so much content with your podcast, with videos, everything else. Where does, like I said, where does that live? Like in the way that the public could see it. But what solution have you found for where you're keeping all of your data, your videos, your podcast? Like, have you come up with that solution? I'm kind of asking this for my own purposes because I'm kind of coming up with some solutions of my own, but I'm just wondering, like with that much, you're approaching like our entire library of, or maybe even eclipsed it, of all the shows and everything that we've got and all the B-roll that goes with all the shows. What do you do with all that stuff?
Yeah. So, part of selling a company, you have to really kind of document and list everything. And I believe the number was like, it was 8,000 something, like full final videos. That's not B-roll, so it was over 8,000, I believe, like final finished delivered videos. This is a lot. Some are on YouTube, some are on Vimeo. Like Vimeo, we have a lot of our insider only stuff that behind a paywall. And then we have, Google Drive and Dropbox and all this stuff. So we have hired a head of content who's organizing a lot of it and using AI, honestly. So maybe ask me in 90 days what it all looks like. But that's one of his biggest tasks, is to organize all this stuff so that you could go in one quick search to say, I want to see all the guy Pat doing this Texas roadshow. And boom, it's all right there for you, easy to find. Our stuff's it's all over the place.
Yeah, that's what I need too. I do have a solution that I've been using, but it's not, I don't know. It's not there's parts of it that I love, and then there's other parts of it that I'm not at all impressed with. And it's AI too, where you can, I don't know. You can sense my frustration with it immediately as I put my hand on my head and say, I'm
with you.
But that's a solution that I'm looking for too. So if anybody else knows of that out there, you can let me know. Okay. So you got a 5-year plan. You always have a 5-year plan. What about the 1 year? Like, what's the 1 year from now? What are you going to, what do you do, you and Luke do, Salt Strong do, now that some stuff has been taken off of your plate? You can focus on what? The theme park? Like, what is it that you're going to be focusing on?
Yeah, so we're recording this in October. I'd say nothing's been taken off our plate yet, just because it's all very, very fresh. And, if you sell a company like ours, and you can only imagine how many different things that we're going in and out of our bank, our credit cards, you change EIN numbers, all that stuff. It's post-acquisition stuff is all we've been dealing with. So I haven't really felt that feeling of being able to only focus on the theme park, et cetera. So one, we do want to buy the property. We're not going to do anything else with it, at least for now, and so maybe enjoy it as a family. So that's kind of number one, a big to-do of ours is to find this property, and the people that bought us know about it, and they're actually excited because of some reasons I can't mention, of things that they do as well. They're excited to maybe even be a part of that and developing it and growing it when the time is right. But the next year, Tom, is going to be just focused on those insider members. As I mentioned, they're already getting free Sportsman's Guide access. We've got 65,000 members. We really want to be closer to 100, and not just to say big is better, but because I know we have the value there. And I know, especially when they're getting free Sportsman's Guide and now able to save money on all this other stuff, that we could create such an amazing experience to keep 100,000 people happy.
So let me ask you a quick question. You got 60,000 members, and they're mostly inshore saltwater people.
Correct.
Are there another 40,000 people out there that are inshore saltwater people, or do you have to expand into a different group to get that other 40,000, you think?
No, we've already hit over 100,000 people that have paid us $100 over the years. We've lost that many. We have the majority of people obviously are staying. Otherwise, we wouldn't sell the company if it was just a massive leaky bucket. So Yeah, I mean, just in Florida alone, there's well over 100. I mean, there's 500,000 people who are mostly into inshore saltwater fishing, just based on what they pay for the licenses and tackle and stuff. It's how many of those people are willing to spend $100 to join a fishing club. So I don't know that you can do it only in Florida, which reason why we went to Texas and obviously the whole Gulf and the Carolinas. You'll see it starting to move up a little bit. We've already hired a coach in the Chesapeake area, so we're already starting to kind of move up that. And we got John Skinner, who's been doing a lot of stuff for us up in New Jersey and New York. So it's not going to go to the West Coast. So anyone listens, they're finally coming to California. I would not expect that over the next year. Long term, certainly, but short term, we just want to do a better job, I guess is what I'm getting at. You're not going to see a ton of change. You'll see some more coaches. You'll see just some more value added things that we're going to be doing inside of the app and the community to make it really, really fun. And you're going to see a whole lot more of discounts for this reason you mentioned earlier. There are people a lot of people, including me, trying to still save money. I mean, everything seems so crazy expensive. And if I get the chance to save a few bucks on something, I'm going to do it. So we're really trying to build that foundation over the next year to want to make sure it can stand on its own, and that Luke and I can kind of recreate ourselves in these other niches that I mentioned, like freshwater fishing, hunting and shooting. But you'll still see Luke and I mostly just the Saltstrong guys. I don't think they want us to change. They'd be kind of stupid for us to, hey, you guys, the Saltstrong brothers, go to be the Hunt Bros all of a sudden overnight. I mean, it wouldn't make any sense, and it's not genuine either. It's not who we are. So, right.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's been fun to watch you guys build this, and I get all the emails. I've been a fan of what you're doing, and mostly a fan of your work ethic, because you just never stop, man. You never stop. You haven't ever since our first meeting. You are one of the hardest working people behind the scenes, because I kind of can see what it takes to do this. And I know that you're the one doing it. And then I see what it takes to do what Luke's doing, and I know that he's the one doing it. And you guys are a good partnership there, but I can see what it's taken to do this, and I know it's been a lot of hard work, and it's not just you and Luke; it's your entire team.
Yeah, it takes a village, and we have the best teammates in the world. So,
but it's been really cool. So,
yeah,
hopefully it's going to be really cool to see where this next chapter takes you. I don't know what a fishing theme park looks like in your mind, but for me, it's where I get to go and I get to catch the biggest fish I've ever caught of all the different species, and maybe I have to wait in a little bit of a line to do so, but I'm okay with it. And I also want turkey legs and cotton candy, because that's what a theme park has mostly.
It is definitely not roller coasters. The closest theme park that I could give you guys like a picture of is River Ranch. There's a place called River Ranch, not the place where you go out and just go a mud bug in and drinking bush lattes, but River Ranch owned by Westgate. And I would call that a theme park for cowboys or rednecks. And the whole thing is based around every Saturday night there's a rodeo. And I mean, they're getting young people in from all over the country that are coming in to compete in this rodeo. So it's a theme park for rodeo. You can go shoot skeet, archery, airboat rides, mud buggy rides, all during the day, and everyone comes together for a big rodeo. So imagine that, but around fishing.
I think it's cool, man. That sounds awesome.
Yep.
That sounds awesome. Well, you've had that. You actually, I think you mentioned that on our first meeting ever, that there was an idea, an overarching idea of the first fishing theme park. So good luck with it. I think you'll do it.
Thank you, brother.
I think you'll do it.
Thank you.
All right. So if anybody needs any more information, if they want to join the membership, give them the pitch.
Saltstrong.com. So you go right there. It says join the Insider Club, and at least as we're recording today, you will get that BOGO membership. So you will actually get unlimited access. It's Sportsman's Guide as well. So if you're also into shooting or hunting or archery or freshwater fishing, you now can get discounts there as well. But yeah, the app has really been big. We have an app called Smart Fishing Spots that all our members get unlimited access to. And as I mentioned multiple times, the community. I mean, I think it sounds, because people probably think, oh, it's like a Facebook group. Like it's pretty special. There is no negativity, like zero, unlike Facebook groups. There's no cursing. It's just positive people like helping and sharing. And now we got chapters that are meeting up face to face, almost like a small group in a church. I mean, it's some really, really special stuff going on in that community. So come join us. It's at saltstrong.com. And yeah, Tom, thank you. As I kind of teased earlier, you as a mentor, and I mean that truly. When we started, we didn't know anyone in the industry. I remember at ICAST, like no one even talked to us that first year, and you did. Like you took time, and said, "Hey, you're not." I was up in Atlanta, and you're like, "Well, man, just drive up for the day and spend some time at my house, or not your house, your city." And we met at Whole Foods and spent the afternoon together, and that was really powerful. I mean, you opened my eyes to so much about this industry, and have always just kind of been there. So huge thank you to you.
Right on. Well, you didn't need a lot of help. You didn't need a lot of help. You just needed one person to tell you thought it wasn't the worst idea in the world, and then you were going to take off and do it on your own, no matter what. And maybe I would have even done you a bigger favor if I'd said that's the worst idea in the world, and you would have proven me wrong, and you'd have been here in half the time. I don't know, but it's from that first meeting, it's been really cool to watch. And
thank you.
So congratulations to you. Please pass that on to Luke, and I'll look forward to seeing what happens.
Thank you, brother.
All right, my man. We'll talk to you later. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
See you.